If you're watching this video, you are one step ahead. You are already thinking about doing some research, having some thoughts about possibly buying a house. So congratulations and welcome to my channel. I'm Mike Patel and I'll be giving you some tips or guidelines, maybe 3 of them. The first thing you should do towards purchasing a home, the American dream, whether it's 2 months away or whether you're gonna buy it 2 years away or 3 years away. So you're doing the right thing by at least thinking about it and doing some research on it. So let's talk about the 3 steps that you can use and have a guidance on to start owning a home and start the process. So if you are thinking about buying a house, the first thing you need to do is establish a credit. If you don't have a credit, if you're a first-time buyer and you have no credit score at all, what we call a FICO score, then you may want to apply for a credit card and at least establish some kind of credit, because just like buying a car, assuming you're not paying cash, you're going to have monthly payments, and for them to approve your monthly payments, they're going to check your credit score. Same thing with the house. To get a house, most likely you're going to end up getting a loan from a lender or a bank, and the first thing they're going to check or ask for is your FICO score. What is your credit score? What is your FICO score? And the way to get it, if you don't have it, is apply for a credit card, even if it's $500 or $600 limit, and then charge on it maybe gas or some food, and then pay it off every month. And just like that, you will have a credit score. Once you start building that credit score, get another credit card in a couple of months, and then get a third one, and then charge more and pay them off in time. So just like that, you will have a FICO score and a credit record. That'll be great. So if you're a first-time buyer, that's what you want to do if you don't have credit. If you're one of those first-time buyers that could not buy because you have some dings on your credit score, on your FICO score, because you missed some payments, or you had some unexpected bills and you forgot to pay them, or you forgot to pay another bill and you could not pay it on time, then that's going to affect your FICO score and your credit score. So if you have a low FICO score and you are behind on some payments, whether it's medical bills or any other bills, talk to the company that you owe the money to, and they will negotiate to have them pay you maybe a lower amount. Of course, I'm not a lender, I'm not a credit repair expert, but they will guide you. But that's one step to increasing your low FICO score to a higher FICO score. And if you are one of those buyers that already have a FICO score that's established, but you're gonna buy it with your spouse or your siblings or your uncle or somebody, and they don't have a good FICO score, then they need to improve their FICO score so you can end up buying with your partner in this case. And if you want to increase your FICO score, there's other things you can do to increase it, because you're better the FICO score, the better the rate you will have. Of course, that doesn't work all the time. They look at the combination of your score and your debt ratios and your down payment. But I'm believing that the better the FICO score, the better terms you will get. And like I said earlier, I'm not a lender, so I'm talking from the perspective of a first-time buyer, how to think and what's the first thing to do. If you talk to a lender and ask them what are the first 3 things to do to buy a house, they may have a different perspective. I am looking at your desire to buy the house, your ambition to buy a house. So the first thing to do is check your FICO score and establish your FICO score. By the way, if you're coming here for the first time or if you've been watching my channel, I would really appreciate if you can subscribe to my channel. I come up with videos almost every week, maybe sometimes twice a week, and I give pertinent information on the real estate trends and tips and updates. So if you can subscribe and even like and comment, I would really appreciate it. I'm Mike Patel in Anaheim Hills, California. So the second thing to the process of buying a house is to establish income. The banks or the lenders will look at your income. That is very important. So to buy a house, the first thing they're going to look at is your FICO score. And the second thing is your income, because you need to establish how much of a house can you buy. And based on the down payment, you have to establish how much payment you can make. And how much payment you can make depends on how much money you are making. Are you a self-employed buyer? Then your whole scenario changes to qualification. If you're a 9-to-5 or a W-2 worker, they're going to look at, are you salaried and how long have you been working. Banks would like to see at least 2 years worth of income, and if you had a gap in between or if you had change of job, it doesn't matter. They're going to look at your continuity of your job and your income. So that's what they will be looking. And income is very important, because if you want to establish a mortgage payment of, let's say, $3,000 and you're only making $5,000 a month, you are not going to get that loan, because what we call your debt ratio is too high. Banks look at your total income and then they look at your total debt. If you buy a house, let's say your payment is going to be $1,500 a month, then you have property taxes, you have car payments, you have credit card payments. They look at your history, combine all of that, and then they give you a certain amount of threshold to pay. So at $5,000, they may only allow $2,000 a month payment. So it all depends on your scenario, on your income, on your debts, and on your down payment that you put. So income is very important. You need to show at least 2 years minimum income, continuity, If you're self-employed, the whole scenario changes. If you're commissioned, if you work on a consulting basis, the whole scenario changes. Best to talk to a lender to further know what you are going to need in that case. So the second step is to establish your income. So when you buy, the banks are going to be okay with it, and based on your income and your down payment, they're going to give you a certain amount of loan that your payments will be on a monthly basis. So check that out. By the way, if you need a referral for a lender anywhere nationwide, I have a vast network of top realtors and top lenders, and I can refer you to them at no additional cost and no obligation. Comment below and I'll be glad to refer you to a lender or a realtor in your neighborhood. The third and very important process or the step towards buying a house is to think about your assets. Or what are assets? Assets are, if you're gonna buy a house, you're gonna have to put some down payment, unless you're a VA where you can go in with 0% down. So when you are ready to buy a house, let's say you're gonna buy a house in 2 years and you're thinking about putting at least 10% down so you can lower your mortgage monthly payment. Assuming you're buying let's say a $400,000 house, and if you put 10% down, you're gonna need approximately $40,000 plus closing costs. So if you don't have the $40,000, how are you going to have that in the next 6 months or the next year or in 2 years when you are ready to buy a house? Are you saving every month? Are you going to have a bonus check coming in? Are you going to have a tax refund coming in, etc.? So you need to prepare your assets. And by the way, on top of the down payment, you're gonna need a little bit more than your down payment. I'll give you an example. Some of the lenders, depending on your terms and condition and your FICO score and interest rate, some of the lenders require reserves in your account. They may require 3 months or 6 months of reserve in your account. You may have to pay property taxes ahead, 6 months ahead. There is closing costs like escrow and title in California. In some eastern states, you have attorney fees. All that needs to be added to the down payment. Also, if you are moving from one state to another state or one county to another county, or if you're renting and moving to a house, you are going to have moving costs. You're going to have to rent a U-Haul or a truck, furnitures moving, etc. You may want to buy some appliances. So the assets that you're going to need includes your down payment, your reserves, your closing costs, your moving costs, and of course, things you need to buy in the house. Maybe some appliances or beds for your kids if you have kids, or something else, pots and pans, everything. So you do need to think about your assets, and this may be a good time to start preparing for it. Talk to a lender right now, even if you're going to buy 2 years down the road. See how much you can afford based on your income and your FICO score and your debts that you have, like your car payments or any other payments. And that way you can establish how much money you are anticipating and start saving for that. The good thing is, if you don't have a lot of money and if you have access to a gift money, maybe your family or friends or uncle may want to give you a gift money, that may be allowed by a lender. So you don't have to collect all of it if you're going to get a gift money. There are also loan programs out there. I just referred a buyer to a down payment assistance programs. These are programs that some cities, some counties, some states offer to the residents, where they give you assistance and you can pay them back later on, or they reduce your mortgage payment up front so your costs are lower up front. So there are a lot of programs out there. So if you're thinking, oh my gosh, how am I going to get these assets? There's a lot of assistance out there, not only from your family, but also from some down payment assistance programs. They're out there. Sometimes they are there and then they're gone, but then they come back to the city or the state or the county. So look for those. One caution is that if you do go with the down payment assistance programs, make sure you talk to a lender who specializes in those programs, because they are complicated and an average lender who has never done those may not be able to do it. So talk to a specialist who specializes in those down payment assistance programs, and they're out there. And there's also grant programs. So good luck to you. Please subscribe to my channel. I would really appreciate it.